Welcome to the Negotiation Society podcast, where today we have good friend Kate Kasch. Kate and I met a while back, almost 8, maybe even 10 years ago, when she was working for Wrigley. As a Chicago native, we'll say, and a graduate of UMass Amherst and then Loyola University, where she got her MBA in marketing, she went into the CPG world, where she has 15 years working for the likes of Wrigley on nearly all accounts, the Rite Aids, the Aldis, the Big Lots, the 99 cents. She then went to Mars, where she was the senior customer marketing manager for M&M's, the team lead for analytics and operations for new transactions, the sales director for North America for the kind adjacencies, and is now the vice president of sales for GoodPop. She is also the mom to 5-year-old Alden and two-year-old twin daughters, Thora and Vera. Kate, awesome to see you again.
Hey, Mike, it is so good to be with you today. Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. So we know a little bit about your history, but how did you get to where you are today?
I mean, I have no idea. I pinch myself pretty much daily at this point. I think all careers are filled with so many twists and turns that, never exactly pan out the way you plan. And I certainly did not plan. And it's been really one heck of a journey so far. I mean, as you referenced, I spent the first 15 years of my career in really growing up in a really wonderful, wonderful company of Mars. I, even a year removed from it, still believe it's one of the best companies, private or public, in the globe. Really trying to make the world a better place than the one we've inherited. And I consider myself extremely fortunate to have spent so much time there across quite a few jobs. And it gave me the sort of strength and wherewithal to take a leap of faith in myself and a leap of faith in what I had learned at Mars to move to Texas and work on a relatively small brand of better for you frozen novelties and treats. And that's GoodPop. And we are doing some really incredible things. We're planning some great innovation that's really geared towards families who are looking to make a better choice as part of a happy, healthy life. And, how I've got here, I mean, it's kind of been an impromptu recipe I couldn't have written 20 years ago. Certainly quite a bit of hard work, more than my fair share of luck. And I think the last few things, a willingness to love something about every job that I've been in, and the people that I've met along the way. So when I talk about the willingness to love something about every job that I've been in, we all know that not every job is created equal on the sort of fun scale. As an example, as you mentioned, I was working on M&M's, and it was such a fun job. I mean, it was a global brand. We had all the support, all the FaceTime with the president of Mars North America. We were working on the biggest launch in category history. At the time, we just hoped that's what it would be, and it turned out that way. I mean, we were doing activations in Times Square and sponsoring major TV events. We were, we were just having so much fun in this creative job. And you know what? I did well in this job. It fit my strengths. It was creative. It was people-oriented. It was about driving to consensus. And because I did well, and in a reorg, I was promoted into a data and analytics role. And, reflecting back on it now, I have to be honest that I wasn't so psyched about that. I kind of mourned for the role that I thought I would do on M&M's really for years. I was so happy that I would have done that probably for the rest of my career. But I had to quickly figure out if I was going to be successful in this next role, what that was going to mean. So I sort of, put on my big girl pants and said, okay, data and analytics, what is this going to mean? I got to build my first team. I had my first people leadership role. I think in 2.5 years, I got to hire more than 16 people and get most of them promoted. I got to see a side of the business that I didn't even know existed, which is sort of surprising for the mature business that we were. So I was working on food service, specialty retail, and e-commerce, which at the time, nobody knew what to do with. And I worked for a leader, Andrew Capron. He's still one of the best guys I know, one of the best leaders, who every day, no matter how deep in spreadsheets on, vending data and how do we figure out how to convert consumption out at non-measured retail back into shipments through an indirect distributor to calculate a trade projection, he would say, yeah, it's the best day ever. And he was right. I mean, I walked away from that role with a view to a business, as I said, I didn't know about before, with skills as a people leader, as someone who knows how to hire folks, to coach and to mentor, and really for a respect for the difficulties and the challenges of the non-sexy side of the business. And so learning that and appreciating that and having fun with that taught me a lot when I was ready to go do a bigger role with a bigger breadth, that it wouldn't just be about the sexy stuff, but about the nitty gritty. And that was beautiful too.
That's such a great answer. I mean, a huge amount of learning in that response. Be open-minded. I like that you said seeing a side of the business that no one knew existed, the old scale version of Omni, which now is, of course, a very, very hot topic. With your new role, so as the VP of Sales, what's the best thing about your role at GoodPop?
And some of your previous podcast guests have talked about when you go from a big company to a little company, you get the chance to see everything, see behind the curtain, sit down with the head of R&D or procurement and really understand that side of the business. And that has been coming from a big company where everybody has a specific job and a sort of siloed function. That has been absolutely super fun. But I think my favorite part, there are a few at GoodPop, probably too many to count. We're still small enough as a brand and as a team that everything that we do at GoodPop, every decision we make, whether it's for today or 2025, I can put my fingerprint on just a little bit. So even talking about, something simple like our innovation for next year, I can look at it and say, wow, I did that. That part was my idea. Our marketing campaign, that part was my idea. I see my influence on that. We're in a place where everyone we bring on to GoodPop, you still has the ability to adjust the DNA of this brand just a little bit to tweak it. So that this brand is a reflection of the people that work here. And I can truly, truly say that. And so as we look back in 5 or 6 years, I think all of us are going to be really proud of what we've created. And then, the other thing, I joined this team and I have been able to build my team. And at GoodPop, building a team means that I can really choose the right people. They may not tick all the right boxes or all the experiences, check all the boxes of what they've done in the past and what I need them to do in the future. I can hire people who are the right people, who are smart, who are willing to learn, and who are absolutely in this for the right reasons. I was out last night. My team are in town for our sort of biannual GoodPop full staff meeting, and I was out with the sales team that largely has been put together over the last 12 months. And I was so moved by the way we were talking over some complex problems, and Omaira is reaching over to give Richie some advice on this, and Richie's giving Marty some advice on this, and Jason's sort of telling us an incredible story about something that happened to him, and we're all learning from it. I'm building like a magical team of unicorns who are out there representing a really special brand every day with all of their hearts, and I think that's going to be our key to success long term. We're doing everything for the first time as a team. So for me, who's doing doing a lot of the stuff for the first time in my career, to be able to do that alongside of folks who are also doing it for the first time is really cool, because it's created this very supportive environment where we can make mistakes, learn from them quickly, and move on, which is what you want to do when you're in business school.
That's exactly right. It's nice when you can tie what you've learned as you go through theoretically in the business school and actually into the real world. Make mistakes, but learn from them quickly. And as a leader, it seems like you allow your teams to make those mistakes subject to you guys learning from it.
Thankfully, they're all way smarter than me, so they make way less mistakes than I do.
I doubt that. I know how smart you are. How important is it to be customer centric in your role? In this case, is the customer the retailer or is the customer the end user? So the purchaser, me.
And I'm glad you're a purchaser. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, GoodPop doesn't exist without our customers, from our distributors to our retail partners, all the way to the end shopper or, customer. And every decision we make is with all of those customers in mind, from the supply chain through our marketing, our sales team. We all know that we have layers of customers to service. We have a great product that consumers are looking for. We are a clean product. We are no added sugar, 100% fruit juice. We're really trying to make clean products that taste truly as delicious as the stuff we've all been eating our whole lives. But we have to make sure that we are supporting our retailers appropriately and differently. Not all retailers have the same strategy for how they're reaching the customer. And if we sort of shoehorn in GoodPop strategy to each of them, ultimately we won't be as successful, and we won't be as valuable partners to our retailers. So it's really important that we are in every meeting listening to what their key priorities are. And actually, GoodPop is figuring out how to bend and shift and mold against each of those strategies.
That makes perfect sense. And as a shameless plug, even though I get no comp or product or anything from Kate, the cherry and lemonade GoodPop it's so good. And that's definitely a favorite in my household.
I'm glad to hear it.
How important is negotiation within your conversations that you have on a daily?
Yeah, I mean, negotiation is life, right? Like, it's not just for work. It's, honey, if you do the dishes, I'll do the laundry, clean your room and you can have a cookie. If you put this product on an end cap, I'll give you 3 ads. I mean, certainly, but we talk about negotiation always as maybe it's a dirty word, or it's a big event. And sometimes it certainly is, a big event, but negotiation is everywhere and in every conversation. And it's really about figuring out what the other party needs and what we need, and, working together to dance to get both of us what we need. I think the biggest thing about negotiation as we're as a budding brand is that it's a lot less of, massive asks and huge requests. And it's really around, if you do this and I do this and we agree to this at the end of the day, I need to uphold my end of the bargain. I need to make sure that I do what I say I'm going to do. Because when I can deliver on that promise, I can build trust. And when I can build trust, I can be someone that becomes a partner.
I think your point around trust is critical. And do what you say you can do, because it elicits trust. And that speaks directly to the relationships I think you've grown, and certainly what I know of you in your previous world with Wrigley. Are you willing to talk about any super successes or possible disasters within a negotiation framework?
I mean, yeah, I was so many disasters. I mean, all of the disasters in negotiation I've ever had started with me coming in with my punch list and not taking a second to say, what does this person need to? And in all of those situations, I'm either going to walk out unsuccessful, or I'm going to really have to pivot to understand what the other party is trying to get from me. That is critical and fundamental. I say that, but I think actually the worst negotiation I've ever been a part of, I had twins, as you mentioned, during the pandemic, and I really needed a third row in my car. And trying to buy a car during the pandemic, I mean, I had the professional flinch. I opened Extreme. I stomped my feet and walked out. I brought in competitive pricing, and I lost. I lost real bad, but I really needed that car. So,
That's it. You win some,
don't
you lose
buy
some.
a car during the pandemic. Yeah.
Did you ultimately succeed at getting a third row? Did you get a car with a third row?
Yeah, and I paid way too much for it. But yeah, I guess assigning value.
Well, the thing is, things are worth what anyone is willing to pay for them. And if it provides convenience for you and you can fit Alden, Thora, and Vera in, then I think you're okay.
Fair enough.
What is the most important lesson you've learned as a negotiator?
Tactically, it sounds simple, know what you actually want. If you walk in sort of going, we'll see how this goes, you're not going to create the most value for you. And it won't be that you've been taken, to the cleaners by the other party. It's that you didn't know what you were trying to create. So do your research and do your pre-work, really find out what you want.
That makes
and then,
sense.
yeah, it's all you've had guests before say it's all about, it's really just a person on the other side of the table. And that's so true. Right. But like what that means for me is that this is such a small industry. I mean, leaving one company after 15 years to venture out, I'm running into the same folks. I'm talking to the same folks at retailers, at trade shows. It's a small world. So be someone that they want to see again. And you can do that by really going into a negotiation looking to create truly mutual value for both of you. And if you can do that, and as I said earlier, you can do what you say you're going to do, and you can follow through, then you're going to be someone they want to negotiate with when they run into you 5 years or 10 years down the road. And, hopefully you can be someone that they call when they have an incremental opportunity or a chance to try something new. Yeah, we're all people. I mean, be a decent human being. Don't make this miserable for anyone. We're all working so hard, except when buying cars, and then, no holds barred.
Exactly. I love the line, be someone they want to see again. That's a great line. What advice would you give to other people with similar career aspirations?
Oh, man. I guess make friends, have fun. Look to the future and have a plan and all that, but, find joy in what you're doing today. Not only because you never know, what life will throw at you, good and bad, but because down the road, people want to work with people who enjoy doing what they do. And I'm pretty sure that if you can be someone that people want to work with, you're going to have a lot more opportunities than not.
That's very cool advice. Find joy in what you do and make some friends and definitely have some fun.
Have fun.
All right. Last question for you. Is there a secret to surviving the and a recession for your GoodPop brands?
Well, it wouldn't be fair to answer that today. I think you'll have to ask me again in 5 years. But I think if we can have a product that consumers really want, right? And at GoodPop, we're fortunate to have a product that consumers really want. It has to be a product that consumers know is special enough that they're willing to pay for it to bring you into their house at a time when belts are tight, right? That you can make their lives better and that they can't get from another brand. So finding what makes you unique and making sure you stick to that, whatever your brand offers, making sure that it's what the consumer wants, that'll be good. But 2, I've kind of touched on this through all of the questions, I guess, be a good partner. When times are tough, they're going to be tough for everybody. And so how can you be the first person on the call list? Don't make it harder for everyone else than it has to be. And I think we'll all get through this together.
Okay, as always, you have incredible insight, and you certainly have a huge amount of CPG experience in many different avenues with 2 very significant companies, one rather large and one on the up and up due to your leadership. You talked a lot about being open-minded and having fun. Find joy in the things you do. Make sure you see the side of the business that no one might have known existed. So we talked a bit about Omni, and be someone they want to see again. And that's just really valuable feedback. And I appreciate you sharing it. And finally, you talked about do what you say, and then actually do what you say you can do, so that it elicits trust. And always think about what does a consumer really want, and what makes you unique. And I think all of that advice is really going to go a long way, certainly for us at TGP, but also for our listeners. The one thing we won't take from you is how to buy a car, though, because clearly some challenge there.
Don't do it during the pandemic. That's all I can say. Next pandemic, don't buy a car.
That's right. All right. Avoid buying a car during all pandemics. All right, Kate, listen, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. Wish you nothing but luck with GoodPop, and I won't be surprised when GoodPop takes over the world with you at the helm.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's been really fun to reflect on this stuff.